What's up, YouTube? George Silver Hunter back with $500 worth of customer wrapped quarters. So before we get into these quarters, I just wanted to remind everyone that I am on my March to 2,000 subscribers giveaway. I'll post a link up here in the upper right-hand corner and down in the description below for a link to my giveaway video and the rules to get in on some of those giveaways that we'll be doing during a live stream at some point, probably in February. So you guys go check that out if you haven't already. And what we're going to do today is we're going to hunt through $500 worth of customer wrapped quarters, looking for mint errors, a couple of different varieties, but most of all some silver. We're going to be looking for some W West Mint quarters, proofs, you name it. If it's in there, we're looking for it. I do have a document in my description down below that you can pull up and search along with me for everything that we look for, whether we're looking for nickels, dimes, quarters, half dollars, it doesn't matter. They're all represented in that document. But we're going to get into these, and I will bring you in at our first find. So we are on roll number 14, and I'm going to show you right here as I had these things spread out. I was going to just pull you in if this was the only find, but I did see our first Bicentennial quarter of the hunt. It is a Philadelphia, and it's a darn good-looking Bicentennial. I mean, look at that thing. It's hardly got a scratch on it. That is a beautiful quarter. But that's actually not why I brought you in. I just saw it in there for us to find. I'm bringing you in because I have a Homestead quarter here. So I brought you over here to the computer so you could see a close-up of the Homestead quarter under the scope. You can see here there's a giant dye chip underneath the bucket, which makes it look like water is leaking out, hence the nickname, the Leaky Bucket. So we're on roll 18, and I wanted to bring you in as I have one of the new 2021 Washington quarters. And we have that dye chip that can be worth a couple of bucks right here on the top of his hat, right there. So we're on roll number, I think it's around roll 21, give or take. I have found a couple more Bicentennial since I last brought you in, but I wanted to show you this roll that I just opened. Uh-oh, well, it's fallen over. The important part is right here in the middle. It looked like I might have a silver in there, but the really thick rim next to it ended up being the real find. We had a San Francisco clad proof. The 2005 California. It's beat up, and it definitely should not have been in these rolls, but it's still kind of a cool find. Same roll, about halfway, maybe a third of the way through, we came across another Bicentennial, and it is a Denver. These do have a DDO, and I will put all of my Bicentennial Ds under the scope at the end of the hunt to see if we happen to get one of the elusive double dye obverses. We're on roughly roll 24, maybe roll 25, and I do have another one of those Washington quarters under the scope. And as you can see here, we have another one with an even bigger blob up there on the hat. Depending on the size of that dye chip, these coins can get pretty pricey. There's one with a giant dye chip up there that went for several $100s. So I don't know what this one's going to be worth. We'll check it out, and I'll put something in the wrap up for what I think I could get for this coin on eBay. So we're on roll probably 34 or 35 if I counted those right, and we have come across our first W. It's actually in pretty darn good shape, considering it's been circulated. There's a little bit of gunk on it. It is the American Memorial Park, and if I recall, this is one of the pricier ones, so I can probably soak that and probably get that cleaned up, and that go for probably 20 to 30 bucks on eBay. Pretty cool. Anyway, a lot more rolls to go. We've added a couple of Bicentennials and I think one Washington quarter with a dye chip, but it was like the other two, so I didn't bring you guys in. Hopefully we'll find more in this roll, or maybe in the 14 or 15 rolls we have left. We are on the 8th from the last roll. We've been piling on the Bicentennials, and we got something really silvery in here. That's either silver or it's going to be one of those platinum plated or painted quarters. Lately I've had no luck when they're this shiny. Let's see. It is a 2008 Alaska. Look at that rim. Look at that coin. It's even got some gunk on it. Oh well, foiled again. I thought we were going to get lucky and find a little silver. So we are on the 7th to last roll, and I wanted to bring you in. I found another Washington quarter, and I've got it under the scope here. Look at the size of the die chip on his hat. That's probably one of the bigger ones I've ever found. We are on the 5th to last roll, and I think we have our first, looks like a foreign. It's too big to be a nickel, so I'm going to go with a foreign. What is that? It's 1998. It's Mexican. Estados Unidos Mexicanos. So probably a 2 peso coin. So this was literally the last coin of the last roll. And we found another Washington with a giant die chip. Look at that thing. That was a really big bird that flew by the day this picture was taken. It's actually pretty funny. So to wrap us up, we actually had a pretty good, another pretty good customer wrapped roll hunt here. We had a good variety of things. This is probably one of the most number of Bicentennials I've ever found, Bicentennial quarters. We had 2, 4, 6, we had 8 Denver Bicentennials. I checked them all for the DDO. We didn't have it. We had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We had 11 Philadelphias, and a couple of them in here are really, really nice coins. I would guess they would be up there, definitely in the past XF, maybe even into the low AU range, a couple of them. We did have 5, we had 6 of the Crown Error. It's basically a big die chip on the hat of Washington, and I'm going to take you over to the computer right now, and we'll have a look at those in a little bit more detail. All right, well, we're going to start off with probably the best die chip error that we had in the find here. We have a nice giant chip here. This is probably one of the bigger ones I've ever found. I know I made the joke it looks like a giant bird came through, and it kind of does. I wanted to give you guys a look, though, here at eBay. You can see the kind of the bigger the chunk, the more money it's worth. Now, here's one I was surprised only went for about $5.50. But typically the bigger the hunk of metal up there, the more it goes for. So you can see this one here with that giant die chip. I mean, that's still going for like 125, 122. It's getting really, really good money. Here's one recently went for 150. The smaller ones you are looking at closer to like 650. I think I saw some in there around 7. Here's 651. If you don't market it right or you put it up for auction, you might, only get $1 for it. So, when I list these, I try to, start them at $4 or $5 and see if I get any bites. And if I don't, then I'll lower the price. But like this poor guy only got 64 cents. He did his bid poorly because for something very similar, this guy got $3.95 here. Here's a guy with a small die chip for 25. So anyway, let's get back and look at mine. So that's probably the biggest one. And I didn't put these in any particular order. I'm just going to put them up here. This looks much more like the one that got like $3.50, whatever it was, $4. And there's one, and I got to turn them all a little bit in the light because it's a little hard to see. It's from a die clash. I have one that kind of shows it in the right light. I saw one on eBay that had the die clash and the little chip, and it went for about $25, and I'll show you that when we get to it. The other thing I want to point out is a lot of people believe if you have this little line in the hat, it's a DDR. So I'm willing to bet you if I listed this as a DDR and a die chip, I'd get a bunch more money for it. I'm not going to do that because I don't think it's right or fair, because I think this is actually a more of a mint error, or it's something in the manufacturing process that cuts some of these coins. I've just seen too many of them. I don't believe it's actually a DDR. I'm not the authority on it, but that's what I believe. There's another one. Nice size little hunk of metal there. And I think it's this one. It's got a little bit of that die clash in it. But you can see my metal here, and if I turn it just right in the light, and I showed this on another video, if you map this up to the other side of the coin, this almost perfectly maps up to, it's either this part of his neck or this part of his neck. I can't remember. But I saw some of those on eBay going for about $25. I think it's very, very light, but it's there. You can see in this light. right there. So this is one, if I put on eBay, I think I get pretty good money for it. And of course, our last one is nothing to write home about, and it's damaged. We've got some damage here in the coin. Anyway, with that said, let's get back to the main wrap-up. So as you saw, probably some pretty good value there in the Washington quarters. Even if you only get a couple, $3, $4, maybe even $5 for each one of those, that's, you know, call it $3 a piece, $3, $6, $9, $12, $15, $18, and basically $1.50 worth of quarters. Of course, we do have this West Point Mint. This is the American Memorial Park. Always lovely to find a West Point. I love finding proofs, especially quarters. I haven't found too many. I've found plenty of San Francisco business strikes. So they've got that San Francisco mint mark, but they don't have the mirror finish. That's the difference between the business strike and the proof. This one's pretty well worn. I mean, it's been through circulation. I'm sure if I were to soak this in something, I could probably get some of the gunk off, but I'm not going to do that because there's not a whole lot of value in it. I just think it's cool to find proofs in circulation. Of course, we have the leaky bucket error, which I showed you guys. These are starting, at least for me in Atlanta, a little bit of a dime a dozen. I get a lot of these. They might be worth like $1 or $1.50 a piece. And then, of course, we have what I believe to be a 2 peso or $2, I guess, Mexican coin. And it's always fun finding foreigns in your U.S. rolls. Just if you've never found one before, it's just kind of neat to find them. Not a lot of value, but I have a little baggie full of all the foreign stuff that I've found. So with that said, I mean, we had pretty good value in this thing, and it was a lot of fun to hunt. And I'll tell you, dumping out customer wrapped rolls and then being able to immediately rewrap that is kind of nice, considering, you know, with the bank wrapped rolls, you've got a screwdriver into each roll, and you got to get rid of all that paper. And so it's a nice little change of pace. I know I've been doing a lot of customer wrap rolls lately, but it's mainly because I've struggled to get bank wrapped rolls. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, head on down below this video, click that like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. And while you're down there, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, now go ahead and take the time to do that. Click on that subscribe button and click on that little bell so you get notified each and every time I release a new video. I'd really appreciate it. And again, don't forget, guys, I'm in the middle of my March to 2,000 subscriber giveaway. Make sure you head on over to that comment video. The link to it's down in the description below. And click on that. Find out what we're giving away here when we get to 2,000 subscribers. Well, you guys take care, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.